Running a Fever, episode 110, the Glycemic Index and the 3 Oatmeals. Welcome to another Monday special of Running a Fever. My name is Michael Davis. I love my life so much that I want to make it last as long as possible. I'm doing that through the study of fitness, medicine, and diet. And if you love your life as well, or you want to, then come on along. We'll get there together. The Glycemic Index. Now, what is the Glycemic Index and why do we care about it? I'm going to abbreviate that GI maybe. It's a ranking of carbohydrates on a scale from 0 to 100 according to the extent to which they raise blood sugar, also known as glucose levels, after eating. This is also called glycemia, which is the amount of blood sugar that you have. Foods with a high GI are those which are rapidly digested, absorbed, and metabolized, and result in marked fluctuations in glucose levels. A diet including low GI carbohydrates, the ones that produce smaller fluctuations in your blood glucose and insulin levels, is one of the secrets to long-term health, reducing your risk of type 2 diabetes and heart disease. It is also one of the keys to maintaining weight loss. Now, the glycemicindex.com site is maintained by the University of Sydney, and you can go there and also you'll get evidence there of the statements about weight loss and diabetes and heart disease. I think that the way this works and the reason that blood sugar is important in reducing those fluctuations, the spikes in your blood sugar, is puts stress on your liver, which has to process all of this stuff. I remember my dietitian, telling me that the liver is regulating blood sugar. For example, at night when you're not eating any food, it still gives you enough food to do your body to have your body function because it's regulating that. So the regulator is stressed, and unlike muscle stress, it doesn't do you any good. This isn't a good type of stress. So that's one of the reasons. So, this is important to us whether you have diabetes or not. We already know that an increase in fiber has a dramatic effect, like a 30% effect on mortality rates due to heart disease. So what are the different types of oatmeal? Now, oatmeal, my dietitian has told me, is a superfood. And so it's really healthy to eat, right? It's a low glycemic index food, but I started months ago in eating oatmeal, and I was eating the instant oatmeal. I tried some of the flavored stuff like the maple, cinnamon oatmeal, and a lot of that has sugar in it. It's okay. It's just got sugar, so you got to be careful. And then usually what I'll do is I'll take the plain oatmeal. The instant is only 100 calories, right? And, I may put a little smart balance in there, depending on my calorie intake that I'm shooting for. I might put berries in there or some kind of nuts to add to it. So it's very good. And I've been doing that for a long time, and I can eat it almost every day. Don't really get tired of it. But then I heard, maybe rolled oats are actually better for you. The traditional oats that take longer to cook. Then, I always hear about these steel cut oats, and that's a thing, right? What are the different types of oatmeal and what are the differences? So steel cut oats are cut, not rolled. They look like rice. They look completely different than your other types of oatmeal. They take the longest to cook. I think it takes like an hour to cook. Just like rice, it takes a long time. It's a whole grain, and it has kind of a chewy consistency. Old-fashioned or rolled oats are steamed and rolled flat, so they look like little ovals, and they cook quicker than steel-cut oats, and not quite as quick as quick or instant oats, which are pre-cooked, dried, then rolled. They cook in a minute and has a kind of a mushy texture to it. So why do people like Dan Blue Zone Buettner recommend steel cut oats? Now, it turns out that the 3 basic types of oatmeal have different GI numbers. Even though it's all oatmeal, they're different. Quick oats have the highest, 66. Steel cut oats have the lowest at 42, and rolled oats are in the middle with 59. So, if you want the lowest GI and, the best benefits of all these, glycemic index factors like, weight loss and diabetes and preventing heart disease, then you want to go with the steel cut oats, right? They're the winner. In any event, any kind of oatmeal is probably pretty good for you. But the steel cut, it's a 42. That's a pretty good GI, I think. So it takes more time to prepare the steel cut oats, but you can mitigate this by preparing several meals in advance. As I've talked about doing, I've done this quite a bit. You go ahead and cook it, freeze it, thaw it the night before, nuke them for a minute, and you're ready to go. So make a bunch of those meals in advance, and won't seem to be that much trouble per meal. So there are quite a few links on this and resources that I've used. Mayo Clinic and Sydney University, that glycemicindex.com. There are also some other references to the subjects that we're talking about today. So look on the website, runningfever.com, and read that post to get the links. Keep the fever. Talk to you next time. This is the Padua Podcast Network. PaduaMedia.com.